Yes, it's a fennel forward kind of a day. Anyways, the old Coot here coming back at you with another exciting Father's Day edition. Happy Father's Day to everyone out there. If you saw the video literally just prior to this one, the 30-minute extended cut, you pretty much saw me talk on and on and on about each and every one of these. So if you want a more in-depth explanation of replacements for Chartreuse, right? Green Chartreuse, please, I encourage you to watch that video and sit and bear through it all. And you'll kind of go through the process of how I got there. Anyways, this video, just green Chartreuse replacements and also one yellow, good suggested yellow Chartreuse replacement. We're just going to get into that real quick here on this video. So the Genepy Enrico Toro, this is 70% alcohol by volume. This one was 60 bucks down in San Diego. Shop around. You know, if you're in Southern California or if you're in other parts of the country or whatever, shop around to try to get the best prices. The Genepy Chamois, I believe they changed their name. It used to be called something else. I think it was the Herbs or something, Herbes or something like that. But anyways, this was 45% alcohol by volume. This one's made by Dolan. This one here, Boomsma, Klosterbitter, right? This one is 40% alcohol by volume. By the way, not sponsored by any of these companies. I have to buy this stuff on my own. So if you're out there, whatever part of the world you're in, and you have to buy these, you know the hurt that you'll experience if you're like me and you want to do your own comparison. Anyways, this should be somewhere around 30 bucks like a bottle. This is June 2024. This one's the same, somewhere around 30 bucks a bottle. You know, you're in good shape. Okay, Torella 72. This one is another Enrico Toro product. This one is 38% alcohol by volume, whereas remember that one was 70. So that's the difference in the alcohol content. And then this one you should be able to find for somewhere around like 50 bucks. Like 50 bucks a bottle would be somewhat comparable. And then the Galiano I threw in as like a yellow Chartreuse comparison. I think it tastes a little bit sweeter than the yellow Chartreuse does. You're not getting as much of that astringent alcohol spirit forward punch in like your sinuses, that heat, quote unquote. But Galiano, the prices kind of varied. This is the 375 mil. I think pre-pandemic, I can't remember. I think it was around like that price, like 30 bucks a bottle, like somewhere in there. I can't remember, but I believe the company might have switched hands. The ownership, the bottle design is different. It used to have like, I think it was like an anise stem in there. Now it doesn't anymore. And there used to be a lot of sugar on the bottom. Anyways, you kind of get the idea. So let's just talk real quick to keep this video as short and sweet as possible. So we talked about prices. Now let's talk about nose, on the nose. This one is very anise forward and very astringent. This one, the Genepy, is on the nose. It's kind of deceiving. It's got a little bit of fennel and a little bit of anise, right, on the nose, but maybe more like in the anise end of the spectrum. Klosterbitter on the nose, very fennel, very fennel-esque, and very sweet. The Enrico Toro Torella is a good combination of both on the nose. It's got fennel and it's got anise. And then the Galiano is a little bit like a mix of the two, but even sweeter than this one is. And like maybe you're picking up just hints of like warm baking spices. So you might be getting a little cinnamon, clove, cardamom, that kind of a vibe. Taste-wise, if you're making a drink that calls for green Chartreuse and you're making it for someone else, the first question I would ask them is, do you like it more dry? Meaning you want it more spirit forward, less sweet. You want it to be an explosion in the sinus cavity, right? The nose, the upper palate, the whole taste bud thing going on. It'll clear your sinuses kind of a vibe. And you want that astringency. Taste-wise, the Genepy is going to be a green Chartreuse substitute or alternative. You can never get exactly close to it. But I would say if somebody wants something more drier, I would say to go with the Genepy. This is anise, 99% anise, maybe 1% fennel is in a percentage of 100 what you're getting there. In terms of sweetness to astringency, it's almost the same. It's like 99% astringent. There's very, very, very little sugar content in there. Okay, the Genepy. Genepy is very similar to the Genepy in terms of the anise profile. I would say this is probably 85% anise, like in a flavor profile of 100, maybe 25% of fennel. And when I say fennel, what I'm talking about is You go to Italian grocery or you go to the supermarket if you can find them there, and they sell the whole fennel bulbs. Sorry, getting dry. But the whole fennel bulb, right? You cut it up, you put it into a salad, you taste it. It's got that sweet fennel kind of a flavor. That's what I'm talking about when I say fennel. So it's the bulb itself, right? It's the bulb, the whole bulb, and nothing but the bulb. That's what you're tasting in Genepy. You may be getting some of the fennel leaves, right? Which are kind of like a kind of sort of crossover between anise and fennel. You know, you're kind of getting that kind of esque about it, or that's what you're getting out of Genepy. So 85% anise and 25% fennel. It's less astringent, like the next level down from the Centurba. So I would say 85% astringent, 25% sweet. Okay, Boomsma, Klosterbitter. What you're getting there is the color is probably closer, and this is diluted, by the way, with a couple cubes of ice that have already melted down from the previous 30-minute video. But the Boomsma Klosterbitter is definitely more fennel forward. I would say like 85% fennel and maybe like 10 or 15% anise. What you're also getting here is the sweetness. Very, very sweet. Like when I first opened the bottle, I think because it's been sitting for so long, maybe they're still on there. There were some sugary, yeah, they're there. See those sugary kind of crystals? So that just shows you how sugary this is when you crack open like a brand new bottle that's maybe been sitting around pre-pandemic, who knows. But definitely fennel forward. So I would say like 85% fennel, maybe 25% anise, whereas these two were flip-flopped, right? And this one's definitely sweeter. This one, sweetness-wise, I would say maybe 75 to 70% sweet, and maybe like 25-ish%, maybe 30% like astringent, meaning like the alcohol shines through or whatever. Okay, Torella to me, this is like the best in class. Like if I had to choose, damn it, hold on, phone's ringing. Okay, that was quick. Okay, so if I had to choose, like, wait for the suspenseful, right? Cut to commercial, came back. So anyways, if I had to choose like a green Chartreuse substitute for someone, so remember that original question, you're a bartender at a party, somebody says they want a drink that has green Chartreuse in it, you don't have green Chartreuse, and they're like, I like something that's more on the sweeter end of the Chartreuse spectrum versus drier end where it's going to be more alcohol forward. I would recommend the Torella. Just even overall, as the overall pick, the closest to Chartreuse that you can, to the green Chartreuse that you can possibly get, I would say the Torella is probably going to be the closest. Remember, $50 a bottle. Please don't pay $100 for this. It's not worth it. You might as well buy green Chartreuse if you're gonna be spending that much. But here, what you're getting is you're getting a good balance between the fennel and the anise, and you're also getting a good balance between the sweetness and the astringency. So fennel to anise ratio, I would say this is maybe 55% fennel, 45% anise. And then I would say astringency to sweetness, I would say it's as close to a 50-50 dead split, you know, as you can possibly get between the two. Okay, so remember, just really quickly for the green Chartreuse substitutes, this is just my opinion. I'm no expert. I'm not claiming to be an expert. But if I was at a party and I was bartending and I did not have green Chartreuse and somebody said, hey, I want this fill in the blank drink that has green Chartreuse in it, I would say, do you want it more astringent or do you want it more on the sweeter side? If they say astringent, I'd go with the Centurba. If they say they want more sweetness, I would go with the Torello. If those two are not an option, right? You took these out of the equation because they're too expensive, can't find them, too hard to locate, whatever. Same question. Do you want it more astringent? Go with the Genepy, right? Genepy Chamois. If you're a little more, or if you happen to find a liquor store that has an older bottle, it's also called Genepy Les Herbes, something like that. I think that's what it was called before the name switch. So more astringent, go with that one. Somebody says they want a drink that has green Chartreuse in it, a little more on the sweeter side, go with the Klosterbitter, right? They're both $30 a bottle. They should be relatively available. You know, try your big box chain stores first. Total Wine is usually the first place I go to. If I can't find it, or I can't find it within like a certain X mile radius, then I'll go to Total Wine, or Mission Wine and Spirits. Another good one, especially here in Southern California. I'm sure whatever part of the world you're in or part of the country, you have your own niche box chain store that does, you know, alcoholic beverages or whatever. just shop around. But it should be somewhere in the ballpark of around $30 a bottle. This is June 2024. So more astringent, go that way. More sweet, go this way. Okay, the one that I'm missing, and I hope they're watching this video, is Ver. Ver is made by a company called Elixir out of Oregon. If you're watching this video, oh my God, I would love, love to put your product into this mix. Find me, contact me. We'll figure it out. I would love to try Ver. I just can't find it here in Southern California at like at least anything below $100. And I'm not spending $100 for Ver because I can just buy Chartreuse. So if Ver and Elixir are interested in, like, you know, doing some kind of collaboration, please contact me. I would love to talk to you. Okay, yellow Chartreuse. What's missing here is Strega. I ran out. You know, being the Italian that I am, and all the raging keggers that we have in this house. No, just kidding. Maybe. But anyways, I'm out of Strega. It's Strega Galiano. Pretty much, you know, the same kind of vibe as the yellow Chartreuse. So if you're looking for a yellow Chartreuse substitute, I'm going to do a whole separate video on it. But I would say Galiano and Strega would be kind of akin to like these two or like these two. Galiano is going to be a little more sweeter. Strega is going to be a little more astringent. Like, that's just my right off the bat notations. So if you want a yellow Chartreuse substitute and the person says, I like it a little more astringent, go with the Strega. If they want a little more sweeter, go with the Galiano. I hope this video out there helps someone. Bonus material, as I did in the other one. If you want to branch out of the green Chartreuse, yellow Chartreuse realm, which is getting way too costly for you, and you want something that has that fennel, anise kind of flavor, maybe more fennel, but you want to try an Amaro that has fennel, try this one. Amaro del Etna has like a roasted fennel. Like you took a bulb of fennel, you cut it up into slices, you put it on a barbecue, put some honey on it and barbecued it. That's the fennel taste you're getting out of Amaro del Etna. Okay, one other quick video as a comparison of like, what does astringent to sweet mean? If you're familiar with these two brands, Ramazzotti Aperitivo Rosado and the Coppola, right, Hypatia, if somebody came to me and said, I want a rose hibiscus aperitivo kind of flavor on the sweeter end, I'd go with the Ramazzotti Aperitivo. If they said they wanted a rose hibiscus aperitivo, maybe something more on the astringent side, less sweet, I'd recommend the Hypatia. So there you go. I'm saying this again, I am not in any way, shape, or form sponsored by any of these companies. I had to buy all this stuff on my own, and it costs a pretty penny once you start adding it up. But if any of these companies are watching this video and they want a partnership with me, definitely find me, get a hold of me, let's talk. Anyways, the old Coot here. I'll catch you all in the next exciting video.